Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Show. We are live today on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We got a pretty cool live session teed up for you today. And everyone, we want to always thank all of our sponsors for being part of the show, for being part of our community. Ag Tools, Flavor Wave, Noble Citrus, John Green Logistics Company, Summer Citrus from South Africa, Awahi Produce, and Buck Naked Onions, everyone. Great sponsors of the show. As we say, we're here to have fun. We're here to create a dynamite product, a dynamite creation, right, for the produce and supply chain industry. Now, today we're going to be talking a little bit about sustainability, a little bit about Sunrays. Wait, I might have ruined it for you. We have John Paap of Jack Vandenberg Inc. today, and we're going to talk about some products today. We might try some products today, and we're going to show you when you see that little QR code on product, where does it go? We're going to show you where it goes today because I know some of you have been wondering. Seriously, I know you have. So let's go ahead and get John Paap on the line.
Hello.
There he is.
There I am.
What's happening, man?
Oh, another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise.
Just got back from Seattle yesterday, actually.
How was Seattle?
Seattle's not. It's kind of funny because I've never been, and the only image I've ever had of Seattle was rain and clouds and cold.
What?
It was sunny, warm, and beautiful. Whereas back home here, apparently we were living a post-apocalyptic environment with like a red sun and everything. So.
I've heard, man. I've heard. But the Midwest has been, it's just been crazy, right? The weather,
Yeah.
I mean, from west to east coast, everything is crazy, John. I mean, hence the ag life that we live.
Exactly. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, dude, I can tell. Well, we got some products here today. But today, we're going to talk about Jack Vandenberg Inc. Listen, if you follow the show, if you follow the podcast, John and I do a history series. We talk about where your food comes from all the way back to 7-8 million years ago, not to where it is today. We talk about how it was created, how and why we started to become a civilized culture of farming. And it's a great show, man. I tell you, I was listening to the potato episode on the way over. Yeah, that's right.
Can't get enough of it, huh?
I was listening to it. And a lot of times I don't drown myself and listen to my own episodes, but I kept getting people sending me feedback going, this was a good one. Oh, man, this was a good one. And then what's funny about it is I was like, okay, was it? Like, because us, we're talking.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
And then when we go back and listen, sometimes we're like, man, we got to listen to ourselves. Like, so, but I thought it was a good episode, man. I think you dropped a lot of good knowledge on it. Heck, I never knew that penicillin came from potatoes.
Yeah. Penicillin like cure or activation, I guess.
Yeah. Like it's one of those things where you're just like, huh? What?
Yeah. It's cyclical, it's a lot of the things that we know today kind of happened centuries ago, and we've just kind of reinvented it or reapplied it. And yeah, fascinating stuff.
That is the truth. I would say that is the truth. But let's talk about Jack Vandenberg Inc. So I was able to meet a couple of people from your team this year. I've met Brian Shiro, and got to come down and meet Fred as well, Fred Vandenberg. We got to sit and talk a little bit about summer citrus, right? And we know that is going to be or is the talk of the town, right? Because as we bring that summer citrus in, right, we've got summer citrus from South Africa, who I mentioned as one of our sponsors. We'll have Chile, we'll have Peru, we'll have Argentina, and a lot of that comes in over the summertime, right, John?
Yep.
And with Jack Vandenberg being such a big player in the import world, and that's what you guys are. Like, what can we expect? I mean, give our listeners a little overview. I know we've heard a podcast, but we got to talk a little bit about Jack Vandenberg, and then we're going to show some of these products, man.
Yeah. I mean, summer citrus is right around, well, actually it has started already. And yeah, I mean, the program is built to counter the domestic season. So obviously California citrus. And so, yeah, like you said, we have it coming out from all kinds of different countries in the southern hemisphere. And it's gearing up to be a good season, I think. And we have obviously a lot of exciting things vis-a-vis our Sunrays brand. Around mandarins in particular, we don't pack the navels and the lemons and the grapefruit in our Sunrays brand yet. That might be something down the road. But yeah, no, lots of exciting things coming. And one thing I'll share, as I touched on just when we started jumping on here. Like I said, I just came back from Seattle, and I was attending the Green Biz Circularity Conference or event. And basically, I was there because we won an award, our company, for the Sustainable Packaging Innovation Award for compostability. And it was a pretty big deal because I've never been to this event before. I only flew out because we won, but the event was absolutely spectacular. You basically had people in sustainability from all forms of companies, from CPGs and material recycling centers and food and beverage and just everything in between. And so we were recognized for that award. It's like 200 plus entrants for this award. So we were very proud of that accomplishment. Basically was for our netting, our compostable netting, which I think you have actually there in the studio. And that packaging actually has a really neat story. So basically it's made 100% from beechwood fibers, and beechwood is a naturally occurring the one behind it. Up to your left. There you go. You find it. Made 100% from beechwood, which is a naturally occurring forest. They regenerate themselves. And basically what happens is about 40 to 60 years into the life of that tree, they need to thin these forests to prevent disease, prevent overgrowth in forests. So that way biodiversity can continue to expand within these forests, more light, more water can get into these forests. And basically those trimmings go to this mill, and of that wood that goes to the mill, about 40% goes into wood pulp, so transformed into wood pulp, 10% goes into other bio-based materials, and then 50% of that wood goes into bioenergy. And that bioenergy actually fuels the mill. So about 83% of that bioenergy, I keep stumbling over that, bioenergy is used by the mill for its total energy. So once it gets into pulp, the pulp turns into fibers, which they then spin into the netting, and you have the netting that you have there. And the beautiful thing is it's home compostable. So it goes right back to the ground, into nutrient-rich dirt, and you have that full circularity.
Well, it feels different.
Yeah.
From the actual, I touched all of them just now. Nope, not that one. Not that one. No, not that one either. It does. It definitely, from all of them, just reaching over it and touching each of them, they all feel just a little bit different, right? Yes. And this one, I'm going to bring it over here. This one right here definitely shows or feels, right, a lot different. And I'm going to bring us into the mix here so you guys can see them. But there's obviously a very big difference from this bag. It's like soft, John.
Yeah.
It's very soft, almost like it's like microfiber. You can feel feel it, right? Versus if you were to grab the traditional Sunrays bag,
you can hear it.
Yeah, it's such a big difference right off the bat. I mean, the texture is different. This is not as soft as the other net bag.
No, and most importantly, none of that bag that you're holding, none of that is recyclable. And
there's two reasons for that. The one I just had.
Yeah, which is based what the whole industry packs.
So this one is not
100%
recyclable.
not recyclable, not the netting or the film. And the reason for that is the netting, technically, so the plastic that netting is made from is a number 2 recycle, which means it's pretty widely recycled, that kind of plastic. But the problem is in netting form, recyclers don't take it because it gums up their equipment, gets stuck in their equipment. So they reject that. That goes to landfill. The film that goes around it is actually a poly material. So there's different kinds of plastics being used to make that. And that's actually technically a recycle number 7, which is basically very difficult to recycle. Not many people even accept it at all. So that also goes to landfill. So basically all that citrus bags that most people buy in the supermarket today, if they do try to recycle it, it's not going to the recycling facility. They're kicking it and it's going to landfill. So pretty much unfortunately, every citrus bag that has been used and consumed has gone to landfill.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean,
And we didn't want to be part of that anymore. And that kind of, is kind of the ethos of the Sunrays brand. And you can see it blazing here. It's Snack with Impact. And we truly are devoted to that statement. We don't want to be part of the problem. We know we're not perfect, but we're continuously striving to be better. And a big piece of that is around sustainability, the environment, and a big piece of that is obviously packaging within our industry. We are very reliant on plastic, and for good reason. Look, it's served a very good purpose over the decades, but I think we're all starting to realize as an industry, as a population, that we can't continue this way, that we need to do something better. We need to start thinking outside the box. We need to, and I'm grabbing this. This is not my word. I have to give credit where it's due, but at that conference I was at, one of the big terms was unlearn. So we need to unlearn what we know, and then in turn innovate and create new solutions. And I truly feel that one bag in particular is an example of that. It's so easy to implement. It can run on existing equipment. It doesn't cost even any more than the other pack. It's the same cost. So there's really no reason for a retailer or a consumer to not want to support this. It's inherently better for the environment. You see more of the product. It's better for the product. It actually extends life of the product about 2 to 3 days, and it doesn't cost anything. So
why not? So let's play a little devil's advocate, right? Because if you were to have a retailer on here, I mean, the retailers want this, right? They want this. I mean, not only for, the display unit, right? Because look at that Sunrays packaging. It's got the purple, the orange, right? Compared to something like this, right? And I have no problem saying this. When I was, back in corporate, I would go after guys that had those bags, right? And not the sustainability, but I would go after and say, don't you want like a high graphic bag, right? Don't you want to see the brand show? Don't you want this? So I think that on both sides, right? If you look at it's perfect to your comment of you have to unlearn, right?
Yeah.
Because we are so used to marketing and advertising in a certain way compared to do we just want to market and advertise and throw this in a landfill? Right? Or do we want to start to prioritize, right? And look at it. I'm not saying I'm picking either one because I sell these bags. Like
we all do. We still do too, because we have to.
Right?
Yep.
So, that's one thing that I always say is because it's like I don't want to be a hypocrite, right? It'd be like I support it 110%, and then all of a sudden I'm literally like I said, then I'm packing these bags next door, right? And then you're like, wait a minute, PK, like something doesn't seem right here. You're preaching this, but you're packing this.
Well, that's to my point, right? Like what I said at the beginning, we're striving. As long as you're striving to do better and taking meaningful steps to get there, that's what really matters. Nobody's going to have the solution to solve everything right away. And a lot of these things are collaborative. We need everybody to work together. And that's another thing I saw is that you have competitors that are working together in this area specifically, because at the end of the day, we all, I think, want the same thing, which is to make sure our species survives and thrives, and that we're giving our future children, if you don't have children, just our future species, a place to live and thrive and stay around for however many more thousands of years. And we need to start thinking like that and start prioritizing that. And I think we are starting to obviously see retailers, businesses, whoever,
True that.
starting to look at that and understand that a little better. So
now, listen, I'm going to throw this out there, and you might think I'm crazy. I just saw that movie Interstellar.
I've not seen that one yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about sustainability, John. Like, you got to watch this movie. And everybody's out there like, what the heck does this have to do with produce? But it does have to do with like saving the species. And in Interstellar, there's pretty much like 2 to 3 jobs if you don't go to college. Do you want to know what job number 1 is? If you're not,
it's got to be a farmer. They're growing potatoes, aren't they?
No, you know what? Listen, you got to watch the movie. Okay. You know, spoiler alert. They are all farmers, and it's crazy because their whole goal, like the earth is dying. Like no matter how you look at it, the earth is dying, right? And even 126 years, which that's how, you know, how far it goes, right? About another 126 years. It's like they went from Earth to living on the rings of Saturn, right? And yeah, you're like, okay, Pat, this is sci-fi. But if you actually just watch the movie, you're like, holy crap, like this could happen, right? And then they focus on like it was back in the days. I say back in the days because here's the funny thing. Back in the days when you came to America, remember you got your plot of land, right? You got your quarter. People always ask, like, when you look at avenues and roads, how you notice how they're quartered out every quarter mile?
Yep.
That was because that's how land was given back in the days in parcels. So every quarter mile, that would be, oh, there's the Paap residence. You go down another quarter mile, there'd be the Kelly residence. You go down another quarter mile, right? There's the Vandenbergs. And we were all taught to have our own land, our own cows, right? Our own chickens. We would have 1 to 2 or 3 different items that we would actually grow, right? And then what would we do? We would go trade and barter at the local markets. Am I like seriously? So that's what's so cool about it. And speaking of sustainability, like we've got Severn as a packaging sponsor. They're heavily into sustainability, promoting that bio-able solutions. I know even you work with Severn as well, and obviously on a lot of other boards, just trying to make it better for our industry, everyone. So we're going to take a quick break, John. We're going to hear from a couple sponsors, Severn being one of them. And then we're going to get back. We're going to scan the barcode, everyone, on the mandarins, okay? Mm-hmm. And we're going to see where that barcode actually takes you. So get ready for it because I don't think half of you or even 90% of you even scan the barcode. So we'll be right back.
As we all know, traditional plastics do not rapidly degrade. If not properly recycled, they build up in landfills, pollute our environment, and ultimately disrupt our ecosystems. As a leader in the packaging industry, Severn is excited to introduce Bio-Able Solutions, the newest addition to our family of high-performance packaging. Enabled with bioassimilation technology, our Bio-Able Solutions products are 100% recyclable and uniquely formulated to fully degrade in both marine and terrestrial environments, leaving behind no microplastic waste. Bio-Able Solutions by Severn is a true sustainable option for the everyday consumer that directly addresses plastic and food packaging sustainability. High-performance packaging in a responsible format.
I'm Carl Fiadini with Walk and Talk, the restaurant life. If you follow the show, thank you. We really appreciate the support. If you don't follow the show and you're a foodie or a chef or you're into the restaurant world, this is your home. Check us out. We sincerely appreciate it. It's all about the food. We're filming chefs, their food creations in the best establishments near you. right, so let me tell you where you can find us. We're on YouTube, we're on Newsbreak, we're all over the internet. We're also streaming on your TV with Roku, Android TV. You can find us on the Amazon app, and very soon, Apple TV. Come on!
Hey, produce people, welcome back. Listen, it's always great to hear from Dynamite sponsors creating Dynamite content. We have Severin with the BioLabel Solutions, and we have Carl Fiadini that runs our Walk and Talk segment of Walk and Talk Media Productions. And you also see Carl at the trade shows with me behind the scenes, making things happen, everyone, making sure it all happens. And obviously stay tuned for a couple of videos that we have that we took product from some of our sponsors. We brought it directly to restaurants here in Florida and created an amazing dish. But we are back with John Paap of Jack Vandenberg talking about Sunrays and sustainability. Hey, John.
I'm back.
Guess who's back? Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started.
I triggered you again, yeah.
I know, it's so funny because I feel like I sing all the time, and I just like we'll sing like different songs. And like the other day, I was on the phone with a buddy of mine, and he was like, I started singing one song, it like went into a second song. And my buddy was like, "Are you doing a remix? Like, what are we doing here?" And I was like,
human radio.
I started like 1, 2, 3, like right after each other, but. John, thanks for being here, man. Great to have you and have you back on the show and just, talking Sunrays and sustainability. And, we also thought it'd be a fun idea to bring these on because there's also a QR code, right, on here, John, that you really, people don't know. And before we scan it, because we'll scan it, we'll bring it up on screen. There's the QR code, right? And I'm still holding it upside down. My bad. There's the QR code. And a lot of times we put these QR codes on here, scan to get to know me better. I remember before when you would scan this, they would try to make it go to the, not just to the website, but actually to like where the farm was. Do you remember that? I'm not sure what yours is about because I've never scanned it before, right? We're going to scan it, now. But yeah, I remember, and people say QR codes are going away, John. So why is this so important to the Sunrays brand for it to be on here? And then obviously we'll get into seeing what is in there, right?
Yeah. So we just introduced it basically at the start of this year, essentially. So it's still in the process of rolling out across the packages. But with COVID in particular, obviously, QR codes kind of made a comeback. As probably a lot of people already know and recognize, because it eliminated touch points. Like if at a restaurant, instead of handing out menus and whatnot, people could scan QR codes. And actually, going back to sustainability, it's actually another great way to be more sustainable, right? You're using less paper, less physical things that you could probably and most likely will end up just throwing out. So a much better way to communicate. And like you said, I mean, QR codes were used for a multitude of different ways of communicating information. Like you said, some people just pointed to a website. Some people sent it back to like a page of a link to a farm or so. But we wanted to really be pretty robust with what this QR code does, because we know people are getting increasingly more curious about the story behind what they're buying, right? When the consumer goes in, and again, this is probably geared more towards millennials and younger Gen Z, and then eventually I'm sure Alpha, they expect to Google or search anything and then get the life story of that thing. And so what we came up with was a way to communicate the full life story of that specific pack. So it's not generic information for just a bag of Sunrays mandarins or just a bag of Sunrays grapes. It's unique to that specific one. So it's looking at where it was grown, by which grower, the carbon footprint, all these different things. So yeah, it's really like I'm trying to think, if you compare it almost like to a LinkedIn profile, if your fruit had a LinkedIn profile, that specific package, that's basically what you're going to get.
Well, and if you look at the Sunrays product, let's go ahead. What do you think? We want to go ahead and scan this. Let's get it close enough.
Yeah, we can do that one. Why not?
This is the one we'll do. And as we scan this, everybody, it's gonna come on. There we go. There we go. Oh,
There we go. So you can see right away, it shows you a picture of the package that you just scanned. So you can feel good knowing that the data that you're about to see is actually for this product. So I think we can verify that this is indeed what you scanned. It tells you the variety. So a lot of people, the average consumer won't know that there's actually a slew of different varieties of any kind of fruit that you pick up. In this case, we're looking at mandarins. And so this happens to be a Clemenulus variety mandarin. So it tells you that. It tells you a brief description of what a Clemenulus is in terms of an eating experience. Tells you how it was grown, so conventional versus organic, and what that means. You actually even see pictures. So these are actual pictures from the fields that those clementines you have were grown in. And there's a few of them there. So you can see all that. And even in this case, even pictures from the packing house of people that are packing these clementines for you. Obviously, a map of where the fields are, any certifications for that package. And this is, I think, really cool too. So obviously people, again, being more aware of sustainable packaging and how do I properly dispose my packaging. So here you get to see what kind of package it is, what it's made from, and how to properly dispose it, which I think is another cool element to this. Nutrition facts, you can provide your feedback. So if you had a bad experience, we want to know about it. If you had a great experience, we want to know about it. And that all gets databased. And actually, when someone else scans that QR code for that exact same product, they'll actually see reviews from other people that had that exact same product. So I think that's also pretty neat. And then you have a recipe inspiration based on that product you scan. So if you scanned a grape bag or a green grape bag, you'd see green grape inspired recipes. And then you have what makes this a snack with impact. So, our donations to Save the Children, which is across all our Sunrays branded products, regardless. We always make a donation to Save the Children. And then if it's a compostable packaging, you can learn more about what that means, how to compost at home, or if you can't compost at home, how you can get that to a place where it can be composted properly. So you really have everything at your fingertips when you scan that barcode.
Which I think is pretty cool, John. I mean, when you actually look at it, I mean, you got a few different items in here now that we're both on screen now too, right? Yeah. So did it now, as I'm looking, does it actually show you like where it was packed, or did it just give the general location? I saw the packing house, but is that like overall, or is that QR code updated? So if you moved Sunrays and you're bringing in Morocco, or if you're bringing in South Africa, or if you're bringing in Chilean, how does the QR code change with time there?
Yeah, so if it's coming from a grower, so this happens to be a grower in Citrusdal, South Africa.
Right.
If it was a grower in, like you say, let's say, I don't know, Montevideo, Uruguay, it's going to have pictures from that location. The map is going to be pinpointing that specific farm in Uruguay that this came from. So it's all, yeah.
So it does. So it does then. So it does yes, actually update Correct. With the products that you have, which is very cool, which I think is amazing. So, I mean, listen, John, I mean, as you look at the Sunrays, where I know a few grocery stores that I can find Sunrays at because it's right down the street. I know we've got the Fresh Market, right? Yep. We know we can find them at the Fresh Market. Being down in Florida, where else can I go enjoy some Sunrays products besides, obviously, everybody, let's be real, John did send me these ones. So these came directly from the facility, everyone. But where can we find these products? This is the brand you're looking for. I've seen them when I travel, right? But where, if I was going to go pinpoint here in Florida, where can I go find them?
In Florida, that's a good question.
I got them on the spot. Well, I know the Fresh Market because I was just in the other day. They have them.
Yes, Fresh Markets has them.
I know Publix doesn't. I'm just being real with you.
Yeah, I don't think Publix does. It really depends on time of year, the products in particular. Over the course of a year, it stretches coast to coast, different regions, different stores. I know, for example, right now the grapes are coming out of Mexico. I think Kroger, the fries
Kroger.
banner
Okay.
has them. I'm trying to think of other. I know Tops carries Sunrays a lot. Tops Markets in New York, the Clementines. So it's unfortunately I don't have all those answers right in my head because I'm not the salesperson for this. But I do know that. But I do know that they are across all the country. I know the grapes even get into Canada when they're being marketed. So
true that.
But yeah, look, I mean, we know obviously, as you well know too, we don't expect to be in every single store of every state year round. But of course, we want to increase our footprint. We want people to snack with impact. We want them to pick a product that goes beyond it just tasting good, beyond it being a nice looking brand. It has meaning behind it. You're making a fist. Oh, look at that. Very nice.
They're dark, man. I mean, these are dark.
Fresh from Mexico.
Is that what they're from?
Yep. They should be. Unless we're getting
some. I was going to say, unless we're in another dimension.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see here. Not as big as crunch as the
the Peruvian. Yeah, the Peruvian. Yeah. But no, I mean, but yeah, I mean that's our objective. And look, we want to inspire other companies to follow. We want people, competitors, other brands, to be inspired and do what we are doing. We want them to contribute to social missions. We want them to move packaging to a more sustainable alternative.
True.
We know we're not going to solve all these problems, whether it be helping hungry children across the country, or eliminating plastic, or making sure farming techniques are done more properly to avoid soil erosion, all these things. We know it's going to take many of us. And so with all of this, we want to make sure, of course, that we are explain what we're doing, but also inspiring others in the same time.
Well, the greens were way better than the red, and I never say that. I am a total red fan always. But
funny, you know what? Reds used to be the most popular. I know when I was a kid, the reds, that was always what I preferred. But apparently, green is becoming the popular color now. I don't know why, but it's
good. I mean, the reds go like it's sour, but the greens. Right. I mean, I think the greens are very sweet right now. But I think it's always on your palate, man. Like some people like very sweet, some people like tart. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. The green today is the choice today. And where's the citrus from? I didn't even see.
So the citrus is probably Peruvian.
It is.
Right? Yeah. Yep. They're usually one of the earlier ones to the market for the start of the summer citrus.
For the start of the summer citrus.
South Africa will be here pretty soon, as you well know. And then we get into Uruguay's will be here around the same time. Then you got Chile, and probably forgetting some countries in there.
Listen,
I think those are the main ones
with the imports that you guys do. But listen, everyone, you could also check out Jack Vandenberg on their websites and Sunrays Fruit. You can learn a lot more about them. As I said, you can follow them on LinkedIn at Jack Vandenberg Inc., where you can find the brand, as well as follow them on Instagram at Sunrays Fruit. So, John, I appreciate you coming on today, talking about sustainability, talking about where that QR code goes, because I always get so many questions from people outside the produce industry. They're like,
"Yep,
what do you guys even do that for?" I'm like, well, scan in, find out. I mean, even me, back, like I said, when I was doing pineapples, I would go to a farm. It's much more than that now. Any closing words you want to let your guests know, or anybody that's following Sunrays?
Any closing comments? No, I think we said all. Look, we're trying to do something different. Bring more value to produce and the eating experience. I think we can all agree that we all are working generally with the same product, right? If we're selling grapes, we're selling citrus, we do work our hardest to make sure it is the best eating experience, quality, all of that. But I think it's time that we as an industry, again, working together, to go beyond that. Look, what kind of impact, even if it's something small, what impact can we make to contribute to our communities, whether it be local, regional, global, to help others through our product? And then on a sustainability standpoint, what can we do also, again, however small it is, if it's a matter of just changing a sticker so that it's more recyclable, or switching your facilities to be more efficient, whatever it is. I think we can all bring more value, storytelling, and meaning to the product that we are selling. So,
For sure, man. Well, John, thanks for coming on today. And everyone, stay tuned for the history of fresh produce, because every month we got something fun for you in store. So we'll see you soon, John. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, everyone. That concludes our session today. We're talking sustainability. We're talking Sunrays. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff coming with the history of fresh produce over the next 6 months as we close out the year. So if you're interested in finding more out about one specific produce item, let us know. Send us an email so we can go ahead and find these items for you, research the history, and bring you dynamite content that you deserve. So we'll see you.